edition rock and roll.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Chase Carter Concept Podcast for Friday. I think I'm going to change the dates to Friday now. So I film the other podcast with my friend Ray, Video Games and Nonsense, on Monday. It usually comes out Tuesday. And then I have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to gather information. You're just playing video games and relaxing all day. And what I'm thinking, I'm making moves. I'm investing in my thought process. How much more BS can I come out with right now? But it's been a good week. Can't complain about the week. I woke up, I saw my investment portfolio. There's a way to relate to the people. Investment portfolio went up to some staggering amount. I'm like, one time it glitched. I had, at the time, I just started learning how to use just basically online investing. I still have $250 in Coinbase wallet just sitting there because this was 3 years ago. I couldn't figure it out. Wasn't smart enough. Even though they had a YouTube video with step-by-step process, I still couldn't figure it out. I was like, this is a lot of work to put my money into something. But then I had to write the code down on a piece of paper. Like, I don't know if I trust myself. I forgot the swipe code, the swipe pattern on my cell phone that I use every day. I forgot that. So for a good day or two, I couldn't use my cell phone, which was scary. See, I know. But it went up. I remember I was in sub school and I just started. I put like $500 here and then like added more. And now I have a substantial amount more than that in there. But in sub school, I had only had like, I think $2,000 invested in just random stock. This is when I think Tesla was like $200 or something like that. Before they did the split, which is interesting. They split the stocks. It doesn't make, which I don't understand, because if you split the stocks, a stock split, that would mean did you double them or did you triple them? Because then they went down to like 300 when they were at 1,000. So I don't understand. I was confused. But then you can even buy shares of stocks. So why split? I'm confused. Confused even more. But it's an interesting thing to get involved in and just kind of play around with. But I had, I think, $2,000 invested. And then I woke up one day and it said I had over $100,000 in my account invested. Like it went up it skyrocketed. And I'm like, is it, what's going on? And it was just and I couldn't, I went to sell all of I was like, what just happened? I'm going to get out before, but I couldn't sell. There was just some glitch with the app, and it showed me having way more money than actually occurred. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, though I couldn't do anything on the app. All I could see was it was all glitchy. And I was like, okay, got it. Understood. But it went up a substantial amount today. And I'm thinking, like, what in the hell happened? I'm looking at all the stocks and they're all down and up 1 or 2, 3%, and just normal stuff. Mostly 1 or 2%, most up and down. And I get to cryptocurrency and I see my Dogecoin. And I'm like, oh, this affected it that much? Jesus Christ. So yeah, if I'm good. Dogecoin, if that goes up, I'm happy. I'm not going to buy any more of it, but I mean, because the reason, well, I was trying to wrap my head around it. The reason Bitcoin is so valuable is because there is a fixed amount of them. There's only so many. So if that I understand from my physical based world, if you only have so many of something and then people want them, then that creates value and people bid on them, blah, 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 blah. And the value in Bitcoin is it's an untraceable, unless it's between the two parties, it's an untraceable form of currency. So that has value in it as well. It can't be tracked by anybody, apparently. I've never done any transactions with it before, but what was it there? But Dogecoin can't be tracked as well, but it also um, they're always they can make more of the coin, which is so it's not going to be as rare as Bitcoin. But I think people are just messing with it, and obviously the more people buy it, the more the price goes up. It's like, well, I'll sell it for 50 cents now, or 10 cents. And it's like, well, I'll buy it for 20, and then that's where the value gets set. And I don't know. I'm just holding onto it long term financial investment. Maybe I mean, if all of this money goes away, I wouldn't notice it. I mean, I would notice it for sure, but I would still eat tomorrow and the next month and the next month after that. So I just want to kind of see. Plus, I was always really good at saving money in video games and being really cheap, and then at the end of the game having way more money than I needed to. And the game's over, and I have all this money, and it's like didn't. But there was nothing really to buy anyway. Um, so who knows? Who knows? I got my work money. I got my investment money. I think I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm doing pretty good. But Dogecoin, Jesus. I mean, I could have lived off the next 2 years off of how much it went up. Now it's going to go down. It's going to go back down. It's going to reset, but it always goes back down a little bit, probably like 10%, 20% higher than what it normally was before. Then it goes in. It's a game. These people, that's where I invested in Coinbase, and it was supposed to, which I don't understand. How can they estimate the value of the company, and then they break it down into how many shares it has, which I shared, and then the company goes public, and then people buy up all the shares, and they bought it, and then it skyrocketed. It went from 371 or something like that, 391. I can't remember what it was at, but it was rumored to open up at 250 a share, and then it went up to three something, and then when the stock went public, it shot up, which I don't understand how it, like, who makes that decision. But anyway, then it shot up fit like 60, 70%. And then it went down below the 371. And I think right now, granted, nobody really cares, but Coinbase IPO, what did that now? Yeah, week. So it started month, how about month? 328. No, that's not what it opened. That's weird. That's interesting. Because I know it didn't do that. It says three, but it opened up at three. Four, it said last week it opened up at 409, which was not the case. It was at 409, but then when you go all month, it doesn't bring up the thing. What's going on? I don't know. I don't know how to work this stuff. But anyways, I was shocked. I'm going to hold on to it. Hold the line. But no, if that goes up to, I figured if it goes up to $20 a share, Dogecoin, I will be able to retire. That's if it's $20. That, of course, people thought that about Bitcoin. It's like if it just goes to $20, and it's at $65,000 a coin now. It's nuts. But that whole thing is fun just to mess around with. And this is money. This is like not throwaway money, but money I don't mind not in my bank account. It's kind of funny. I was like, how much? If it goes up to what? If it goes up to what? Ooh, what? I was like, Jesus. I was like, I shouldn't be making that much money off of something that technically doesn't exist. That doesn't make any sense to me from a normal caveman type. I feel like a caveman. Like all these NFTs, all of this digital stuff that doesn't exist but exists. You have the rights to something that doesn't. But then that's like owning the rights to music. What's music? Like, how do you capture music? That's what I don't understand. You own music. You own sound. You own certain notes in a order. You own the rhythm of that song. You own the sound of the person's voice coming out. So that's confusing. I don't get. but then you can make a cover of the song and then you can change it a little bit, but that's okay. I don't understand. And then images, paintings like a physical thing. I can understand owning a painting because it's a physical object. But then digital artwork, that's not a physical object. If you made it in a computer, but then you don't, then Marvel wouldn't own CGI, all of the created characters, all the comic book characters, all the characters they create is what I was trying to say. So it's an interesting thing to try to wrap my brain around. Like, oh, I bought this hammer from Home Depot. I own this hammer. I got it. But oh, I own this digital asset online. And then if other people use it online, do I get a cut of it? Can they not? But there's so many images online that no one would pay for an image, right? Unless it's like a really good, like very attention grabbing image, some kind of polarizing moment in history, maybe like an assassination or someone being sworn into presidential office, some kind of with like the sun setting behind them and it's like this magical thing. But then you can even just doctor that, make it all CGI, and someone can create something that looks better than the actual original. So I don't know. This is interesting. I always say interesting, fascinating um, topic. Things that are digital, but like a stock. I don't know. I should probably get off this topic because I'm trying to not trying, but I'm trying to break my own brain, and I don't know if it's that fast. I don't know if it's that interesting. Going back to my favorite word. What have I been doing? I've been dealing with my girlfriend. I've been dealing with her. She's been very itchy. She's been itching. No rashes, no nothing, but she just gets itchy. Um, I say it's because when she works out, she waits an hour or two to take a shower. She marinates in her filth. I like to tease her about. She doesn't really do it for that long, but she doesn't hop immediately into the shower. So the extra 10 or 20 minutes she goes around doing stuff, I always like to tease her. Um, and then she she asked me, because she doesn't like, what is it, washing the dishes. So I'm like, fine, I'll wash the dishes every night, no problem, not at all. But then I'd get done doing the dishes, and then she would pull out dishes that she had from work, and then just plop them in at the very end. At the very end, right when I was done, she would plop them in. Now, if she had put them in when I wasn't watching, it wouldn't be an issue. But right as I'm done, I'm like, okay, I did all the dishes. That's fine. Plop everything's down. I dry off the counter, clean it a little bit. Everything looks nice. Oh, and she goes, I have two, three more, four more things. Aha, aha. And I'm just like, okay, you have to do your own dishes now. Because if you drop them in late, time's up, lady. I wash my hands of it. You have to do this. And then for some reason that irked me. That wasn't anything serious, but it was just all, hey, 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 not fair. Foul on the play. Yellow card. You're not kicked out of the game. That's a yellow card. And because she said she doesn't mind doing dishes every now and then, but for some reason it stresses her out. And one of my, I told her, I was like, I said, I worded it in a way where I said, well, my job is to take away stress from you. And she goes, that's not your responsibility. I'm like, it's not solely my responsibility. I was like, I was like, fine. I worded it wrong. One of my responsibilities is to attempt to make your life easier, to de-stress you. I'm going to do that in a lot of different ways. Hey, and according to, not enough to her, I thought once or twice a week is fine. I was like, it's been a week and a half. I didn't know you were a 15-year-old boy obsessed with sex. I didn't know that. Or 18. Let's make him of age here. So I remember how active I was, or like not physically active, but mentally I was just all sex, 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 sex. But then now I'm just all, can we just watch Captain, Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier, please, and just relax and cuddle. I don't know what it is, but I really like cuddling for some reason now. Except when I'm trying to actually go to sleep. If it's midday, if we're taking a midday nap, which is the greatest, and I try to space them out once every week, once every 2 weeks, try to spread them out during the day. It's so nice. It's so nice. And I fall asleep when the goal is to not fall asleep. I don't get uncomfortable. But at night, when I'm on my side of the bed and she brings her hot French Canadian Puerto Rican body furnace, her furnace legs, all on my it gets way too hot, and I get uncomfortable. I was like, I can't sleep. You stay over there. Put your big toe on top of my leg. It's fine, but yeah, it's interesting again. It's interesting. It's always interesting. Um, but yeah, where was I going with that? I'm not even too sure where I was sleeping midday. I don't know, naps. I don't know. My brain just is gone completely. But we've been watching Captain America, or not Captain America, but we've been watching the Winter Soldier, Falcon, and I'm liking it. It's good. They, if you don't care about it, they brought back. We're 4 episodes in. We just caught up. There's another episode releasing today, I believe. Um, the 5th episode, and so we watched that. She likes it. I I'm liking they're bringing back villains from old Captain America movies, like the Civil War movie. The main villain is back who lost his son, and he's um he's part of Hydra, but not really part of Hydra because he doesn't want super soldiers. He just wants like the purity of humans to be there. He doesn't like these godlike figures. So he's a supremacist, but he thinks having somebody that's super powerful at the top that's dangerous, and that technically if that person wasn't good, they could rule all over rule all of humanity. So you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But then he goes off and does these, kills innocent people because of it. And you're like, hey, you're a bad guy now. Um, but it's pretty cool to see that. And then there was one scene where, oh, what was it? It was like there's a lot of racial undertones in this. And at first I didn't like it. I'm like, come on, what are we, you're superheroes. Thanos just tried to blip out half of the entire everybody almost, damn near at the end. He tried to get rid of everybody. And the human beings are still worried about the color of your skin? Really? Gamora is green. And you care about black and white people down here? This doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I think people would be over it now. I think people as a species would be over it. If there was an alien species that came from up high up above. Okay, and by the way, there's still alien threats in this world. They didn't go away. Okay, and this was just recently that this happened, where Iron Man and Cap saved everybody. It's unreal. And Captain Marvel, gotta get the ladies their due. All right. Um, but I was just sitting there like, what is? There's still, and I was like, this is. They were arguing about a mission, or Bucky didn't tell Sam. He's the Falcon. Bucky is, by the way, sorry, I'm not setting this up properly. Bucky is Winter Soldier. A guy named Sam, is the Falcon. And they're arguing. They went to go meet somebody for a mission. Some information wasn't told to Sam. Sam was upset. They were arguing in the street, and some cop pulls up. This has nothing to do with the story. This didn't advance the story at all. All it did was to say that they played racial. There was racial tension. White cop pulls up. Hey, is this guy bugging you? I'm like, what? Granted, they were out in the middle of the street arguing. So that is the thing. If they were arguing on the sidewalk, I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. But they were out in the middle of the street. If they're out in the middle of the street, the cops are going to, if you're out there, are two, big, basic, not superhero. Well, Bucky's a superhero. Falcon is just a hero because he doesn't have any, he's not a super, you know what I mean? He's not a super soldier. And so they argue, and it was just this heavy, like, they wouldn't be dealing, I don't think in my head, they wouldn't be dealing with race that much anymore if there were aliens walking, talking, gigantic, powerful, superhuman aliens coming down from outer space to kill the planet Earth. And not only planet Earth, the entire universe. I don't think race would be that big of an issue anymore. I'm just hypothetically speaking. But it's like, hey, is this black guy bothering you? They didn't say black guy, but like, hey, this guy bothering? It's like, what? No, do you know who that is? And they're like, oh, Falcon, I didn't recognize you. And then there was another scene um, where they couldn't get a loan because of the color of their skin. And it was like, oh, you know how they are. You know how they own all of the banks. And I was like, are you talking about white people? Because if you say something else, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be, I was like, okay, but you can't I was like, where are you going with this exactly? So white people own the banks is okay to say, and that's fine. But then if you say another form of white people that own all the banks, they're maybe a little bit darker, a little bit, yeah, that's hateful. So I was like, but that's what people dealt with. But I was like, this is a fictional. I can see if this was, 1940s, 1950s, 60s, 70s, but I don't know if that, maybe they'll look back on history and realize that's going on too. I don't know. But I realized I had an issue with it. And I was like, wait, why am I having an issue with this? I'm stupid. This is a show about superheroes. It's completely fictional. But then they're trying to drop real like propaganda, real political stuff. And then I just kind of want to back away from all the political stuff and just enjoy, a good a good TV show. And I'm dropped in with all this um these like, oh, cops are racist kind of deal. And I'm just like, what? Is that the world we're living in? Is that that like as far, not the world we're actually living in, but is that the world we're living in here in Marvel? Or all these cops are just inherently racist? I'm like, I mean, come on now. Come on now. That's how I'm thinking. But then I'm like, get over it at the same time. I was like, I was like, certain cops are racist. And most people are racist. And they have that initial, like, what is it? I'm like, why can't I just sit here and enjoy this goddamn stupid show? It's dumb. It was dumb. I didn't get worked up or bothered by it, but it was an interesting thought. Um, Monkey bars, kind of exercise in my head. My wheels were spinning. I'm like, wait, why does this bother me a little bit? I was like, I like going over racial issues. So there has to, if we're going to talk about racial issues, there has to be racist people. That's fine. So understood. Got it. Cool. I like things that are more deep, that are more meaningful. So I'm like, why am I having an issue with this? It's because I know cops. I like cops. So but then firefighters aren't racist. They don't say firefighters are racist. It's just like, what? Firefighters have been caught lighting fires so they can go put them out. And guess what? They didn't do it in rich neighborhoods. They did it in poor neighborhoods. So I'm not. I don't know. I'm trying to work this all out in my head and learn and be better and not be a toxic white male. I was like, I can work on the toxic part, but I'm going to be a white male regardless. And you know what? It's still as much as it's a joke. I was like, as much as white people are, getting shit on right now, it's still really nice. I like it a lot. It's still awesome. Besides being unathletic at anything, and I wanted to be an athlete growing up, and not having a God-given natural ability to run faster or to be stronger than somebody else, it was awesome. I got the genes of a white man from Arkansas and a white woman who came from like 2 generations of immigrant parents, Serbian parents. So I'm just, oh, you're given, okay, not you're body wise skill. I was all pigeon toed. I had leg braces. They're like, he might not be able to run fully. Yeah, the Forrest Gump leg braces. I had those before they were cool. All right, Gump. And I didn't just start running real fast for no reason. I didn't have a blonde girl named Jenny encouraging me to run faster down the streets. And I was picked on too, by the way. I didn't run away from the fights. I stayed there. I stood my ground and I got beat up over and over and over till I stood up one time and then the bully went away. He was a pretty big bully too. He still fights people. He has some definite mental issues. Um, but lately I've been thinking about buying a motorcycle and is it because of Grand Theft Auto? And I bought a motorcycle clubhouse? Maybe. Types of motors. This is what I wanted to look up. Types of clouds. That's the first thing. The things are the top things. Types of, and then the auto fills in clouds, snakes, skin cancer, triangles. who who types in types of triangles? Flowers, pasta, cats, dragonflies. Types of motorcycles, please. Because there's different. It's just weird. There's like standard, cruiser, sport bike, touring, off-road, all these different types. And then in those types, there's subcategories. There's a certain kind of bike. It's like a naked bike where it only shows the frame, which I don't get. Cruising is like this comfortable, basically lounge chair you sit in. There's the dual sport. I always kind of wanted like an endo because I wanted to go off and on road, but that's when I lived in the desert. But even then, like, why can't I have a motorcycle like a Triumph that is good on the street, good on the dirt? But I would want a lighter bike if I'm going to be in the dirt so I can control it better. You know, you know. Like I want a dirt bike. I want a motorcycle that's light that can switch from. That'd be so cool. Say if I wanted to go like a modular engine system, if I wanted to go um, ride in dirt, there's a standard engine that's in it. But then if I wanted to go on, say the highways with it, I can just swap out like an engine, like a part of the engine. I don't know how that would work. And, mechanics are screaming right now into no mechanics listen to this, but besides the point, um, I always wanted one of those. But I like the cafe racer style, and that's the back of the seat is flat. And the funny thing, the reason they're called cafe racers is because in England or Britain or wherever, they took these old motorcycles and they would race from cafe to cafe. They'd go. This is how when old people talk about, oh, we had it so rough and blah blah blah. They manufactured motorcycles to go from cafe to cafe. So basically from Starbucks to Starbucks. And they do look really. Some of them look so cool. It's like Triumph. There's a bunch of cool looking bikes. But then do I want like a Harley Davidson motorcycle? Do I want to buy like US? I do want to buy US, don't I? So then I have to think about all of that stuff, and I'm just bumbling around in my head. And I don't want to get a huge big bike that's powerful, like they say I need some with the. I'm trying to understand the engine, the CCs, like in Mario Kart, 250 cc. Um, but they say to go on the street, you need at least about 800 to 900 cc's to comfortably go. Otherwise, your motorcycle is. Um, but they want to go fast on the streets. I don't want to go fast. I want to go. I want to be in the slow lane, on my motorcycle. But is that dangerous to be in the slow lane because you're on everybody's right side and they can't see you? But then if someone comes over, I could go into the side. I don't know. I'm going to be going 70 miles an hour on the freeway. That's it. What can go 70 miles an hour comfortably? But I want a bike to be light. I don't want this heavy thing I feel like I can't control. I sat on these bikes and I'm just like, what? Unless I'm weak and I didn't know it. But these bikes do not feel like you could. I remember riding dirt bikes and I could even when I was little, I could maneuver the dirt bikes. They were heavy, but you could still manipulate them with your body really well, and you can have decent control over them. But this thing felt like it would just get up and go on me. And I've seen those videos of people sitting on motorcycles and then the motorcycle takes off and they have no control over it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to do that. Got it. It's like riding a horse where you're just kind of barely you barely getting control. It's controlled chaos. What exactly is going on? But I'm looking into it. I don't know. I want to spend a little bit of money. Nothing crazy. People are spending $12,000, $15,000 taking out loans and stuff. I'm like, I want to pay for maybe a 500cc bike, learn how to ride on that, make it small, do it fine, and just play around a little bit. Play around, see what happens. Do I want to live till 90 years old? Speaking of technology, yes. Financially, no. No, I don't. I'm thinking 50 max. Right when your body starts breaking down, you're getting, I don't want to be running, jogging around playing basketball, at 50, tear my Achilles. I have to go through rehab. No, just put me on a motorcycle, give me some life insurance. Someone can randomly take me out. It'll be an accident. I'm not driving into people, but then I'm set. That's what I think of people who are, there's got to be, what was it with the George Floyd case? He got like $27 million or something like that. What was his settlement? I forget what his family's settlement was. And I'm obviously thinking um, civil, my um, settlement. That's weird that doesn't autofill that. That's interesting. 27. Oh yeah, exact. Wow, look at me. I remembered. So in a civil suit, they basically said that his life was worth $27 million, which is a lot of money. So is that like everybody? So each person is worth $27 million. Or maybe because it was public, it was basic. It was the police were, who are supposed to protect people, had a hand. I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble. Had a hand in his demise. Um, but I was trying to think of, would I, if someone told me, hey, if you die right now, your family would get $27 million and they'd be set for the rest. I'd be like, cool. Sign me up. Yes. My brother Danny wouldn't have to work. Granted, I think working is good for him. He needs to work. My nephews, and this would just be an account where they can only draw out so much. The main bulk of the money just gains interest the whole time, and they can pull out maybe like $500 a week. Something a little, little bird, little. I imagine like a hamster, one of those little hamster water bottle things, and they just come up and get a little bit. They just get a little bit of it at times. It'd be great. My nephews, they want to, they get older, they want to go out on a weekend and like, oh man, I'm working, I don't have oh, wait a minute, that's right, I forgot. I can pull out $500 a week. Cool. And then, but it'd be so cool if I could, if I could set in the account. Oh, that'd be so cool. If I could set in the account, depending on what time of year. So if it's spring break, he doesn't get anything because I don't want to contribute to that stupid lifestyle. You know what I mean? That'd be good. He would have to go up to the bank teller, and by then there will be no bank tellers. You have to go up to the bank teller, and he or she, the bank teller, would say on the account he can only get the money, and he has to bring back the receipt for the things he buys. That'd be funny. No, trying to fix this microphone. It's not working. I'm just trying to think of, but then what are the restrictions to that? How difficult would that be to set up? And then the expenses of that, would that dig into the main chunk of money you want to keep? It's amazing how if you just have a little bit of money, how much that money could work for you. And if you just have 27, like they can put 25 million in the bank and live off the interest for the rest of their lives easily. And then go on a $2 million spending spree. And I wonder, what I want to see is how quickly that $27 million is gone from the George Floyd case. They're probably going to buy a $26 million home. That's what they're doing. It's like the lady, the Marxist lady in Black Lives Matter. She bought a house that is in a predominantly white neighborhood. I was like, hey, you can't. Are you trying to take over their neighborhood? Like, what is? Or you just want to live there? What's going on exactly? I don't. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth, so you're basically a politician. Got it. Cool. Interesting. And then I found out another thing. I didn't know. I heard some story. I don't know if it's true with all of the stuff with it's crazy with China and Nike. And then Nike came out and said we're not going to use a certain kind of cotton because the cotton there's people in camps, a certain type of Muslim people who live in China that are kept in these camps, and they're forced labor. So it's slave labor um, to make a certain kind of cotton, and Nike didn't want to use that cotton. So um, and then China basically said "F you" to them, and there's some issue between them. Um, I don't know all of the. Read over it. And I'm like, this isn't real. But then I kept seeing it, and I didn't read the article fully. And then if I read an article, who knows if any of that is true? So I don't even understand I'm all over the place. That shooting in there was another shooting with 8 people killed, and then the news said likely an assault rifle, likely. And I'm like, well, if it is or it isn't, probably. Well, it's probably this or that. Probably. It's like what we're pretty sure probably it's an adult white male. Probably. But you don't say that, you don't know. It's like statistically speaking, it's probably an assault rifle. And then I've read it somewhere an assault rifle isn't real. It's the AR is for Armalite, which is a company that made that made rifles. So assault rifle isn't even a thing. I'm like, I'm confused. My head hurts. Can't remember what got me onto this topic in the first place. Oh yeah, the Nike stuff. Um, there's some kind of, but then there's some kind of cotton that's gathered by slaves, and so but then there's a Chinese company, shoe company that like Dwayne Wade's a part of that a few of the a lot of the basketball players are sponsored with. So there's technically basketball players playing in the NBA right now that are getting paid through slave labor while talking about equality for all. What is going on? So I was like, if that's true, that's the biggest form of, but then are these stories just made up to hurt those people? I don't, or um, to bring down to like just as a, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like as a story to distract from what's really going on. I don't know. I'm skeptical of everything. Nike, but it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, I guess. Me and Corie were playing Grand Theft. On a lighter note, look at that transition. Beautiful. Slave labor to me and my girlfriend playing video games. We finished Halo 1 a couple days ago, and we're still playing Grand Theft Auto. We're liking it. She's liking it a little bit more. It took her, I swear to God, we got on there, okay, and she couldn't call her personal car to herself. What you do is you go into your phone, you request a personal car, and your workers or your assistants bring the car to near you. It's a way for you to spawn your car near you. I'm like, okay, cool. So you spawn your car next to him, and then all of a sudden, what happened? There was you spawn your car, but she couldn't spawn her car, so she had to go get a car. Okay, and then make that car hers. And I swear to Christ, I was like, just pick a car. It doesn't matter. You're going to get a whole bunch later. You're going to get, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can buy a really nice car. She drove around for an hour and a half in some car looking for the perfect car. And then she got one that she liked. She went back to the mod shop, the mechanic place, and they said, oh, that car was recently stolen. It's too hot. We can't do any work on it. We know that's stolen. So you have to buy a car that like kind of nobody cares about, a shitty car. It's like you have to start out with a shitty car. That's how the game works. And then so you appreciate the nice cars when you get them. Can't start out with the best car because that doesn't make any sense. We drove around forever. And I was like, look, Corie, I just want you to get a car that you can call your personal vehicle to yourself so you're not running around, because you've been running around and you've been complaining that you don't have a car near you. So I'm trying to fix that. And I had to follow her around because she got so distracted in that game. She kept driving around, looking at all the stuff, going shopping, looking for cars. And she's like, well, I can steal any car. I was like, yes, it's Grand Theft Auto. You can walk up to any car and steal it. Yes. I was like, the cops are going to come after you if they see you do it. But besides that, you're fine. Yeah, you can go up to them. It's fine. But she's kind of liking that. I have to find missions where it's just her and I, 2-player missions, because hopping on and playing a 4-person mission with randoms on GTA is hit or miss. And then if one quits, the whole mission cancels, and then we have to go back to the loading screen and wait, a minute or two, because these are these are Xbox 360 load times here. It's insane. I wonder if they could fix that through, but it's shorter on the Series X than it was before. It was so long that, those days. It was unbelievable. But we liked Halo. We're liking Halo together. We're liking, it's the only time we get into arguments is because she is during video games. It's because she whines. She's all, I don't remember how Chase. And this is right in my ear. I have headphones. We're in an Xbox party chat and she's whining directly into my ear. And the only time I'm annoyed with her through our relationship is when she whines on video games. And I'm just like, why are you whiny right now? You are never whiny about anything. You're one of the most mature people I've ever met, while also being one of the dorkiest at the same time. I was like, what? Why are you whining right now? Like a little baby. Ugh. I can't. How do I open the door? I can't open the door. You walk up to the car and press Y. You've been doing it all day. You've been doing it fine the whole time. Now, the movement and the aiming and all that stuff is weird, and it's going to take her a while to get, even remotely comfortable with that. Understood. I'm not trying to have her fly one of the helicopters. Just drive around, careful, slow. And then she always goes so fast. She gets in the car and just guns it, just full throttle. Doesn't, feather it, brother. She doesn't feather the throttle at all. Oh, there's a red light coming up. That means traffic is going to be whizzing by, cross section. I might want to slow down and, gauge whether I'm not in a hurry. This is not a time trial. I don't need to blow past this red light at 100 miles an hour. And then a car comes out of nowhere and, T-bones me. So just slow down. There's no hurry. There's no big rush. Now, if the cops are chasing you, then I'm not saying stop at every red light, but just slow down a little bit so you can get the hang of the car, get the controls, get the feel of the car. But I don't know. She's one of a kind for sure. Thank God. Like, oh my God, she's one of a kind. That's so sweet. Thank God. If I ever met 2 of her, nope. I had this, I want to switch over. I don't understand why dreams exist or are real. I had this weird dream. I was in school as me now with long hair, which was weird. And not Harrison Ford. Oh, who was it? He was a professor. There was these professors that got swapped in and out every class. And then one of the was, I just recently watched a movie with him. Kevin Costner. That's it. Kevin Costner was one of the teachers. And then one of the students next to me said something making fun of the professor. And then I was like, what are you talking about? Do you know who that is? Do you know who that is? I was like, they were like, yeah, he played Indiana Jones. I was all close, real close, almost. But this is probably the closest you can get to Indiana Jones technically. But no. Like, that's Harrison Ford. So in a dream, I was debating with another person over Kevin Costner and Harrison Ford. I don't know. I just got done watching all the Indiana Jones movies, so maybe that's in my head. And I just watched Black or White because Bill Burr was in it when he had hair. And I was like, I've seen parts of that movie, but I don't think I ever finished it. But then watching the whole thing, I was like, oh yeah, I watched this. Okay, I saw all of this. And that's weird how you can forget you watched a movie once. Still a really good movie. Loved it. But I don't know why I was having that dream. I woke up because Corie's loud at 5 o'clock in the morning when she gets up for work. And I go back to sleep, and then I had this another weird dream where there was a lot heavy rain, a flood, and then I was on a road and then all of these trees were in the road with rocks, and then so I was trying to remove the trees and the rocks. I lift logs. I lift like that's a 300-pound log. I moved all of those logs off of but then there was accidents because of all the rocks, and I didn't move them all off. There was accidents. There was cars on fire all of a sudden, maybe because I'm playing Grand Theft Auto. So I'm trying to help those people out. But then there was like a gas leak and then chemicals and all this other stuff. So I get put in this hazmat suit. So now I'm a hazmat suit person. And I don't remember a hazmat suit being in anything I watched recently. So that doesn't make any sense why I'm thinking of this. And then all of a sudden I'm on a commuter train, and I'm in a cart where I'm not supposed to be. So I had to escape from that. I get out of that. And then I'm in some kind of like nurse hospital. Then I get invited. I have these people around me that I don't recognize, but they're my friends. They invite me to go out to dinner or whatever. And there's people from like all over the course of my life at this huge restaurant. They're like just peppered in. And then Jennifer Aniston is there with a bunch of celebrity people, and everyone at other tables are like gawking at them. And for some reason, she comes up and talks to our table for some reason. I don't understand why. She talks to me like she knows me, and I don't know her, but in the dream I did. And then we say hello, goodbye, they leave or whatever. And so that's weird. I don't understand that. Um, and then I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck is going on in my brain? I dreamt of Harrison Ford, Kevin Costner, a bunch of people from my past, and then at the end was Jennifer Aniston. And I don't even have that huge of a crush on Jennifer Aniston. And I haven't watched anything recently with her in it. But she was there. She was there, looking all hot. She was looking hot like as she was in Horrible Bosses. It wasn't Friends Jennifer Aniston. It was it was proper. It was proper. But it was just kind of weird. And then Corie being itchy. That's right, Corie being itchy. I forgot to dive into that. So her legs have been itching a little bit, not crazy, but just itching, and she's sitting there scratching. She's always had she keeps by her bed a itching fork for her back and her legs, and she's had this since I've known her. But then I guess the itching has been getting a little bit worse and worse and worse. And worse and worse in her head is like probably it maybe a little bit more itchy. Instead of 2 or 3 itches to get rid of it, it's like 4 or 5 now. As I itch my head. But then she sent me an article today linking the COVID vaccine to itching. And I'm just all, I don't, everything's related. Everything is related. I don't. And she's all, could it be? Could it be? I was like, well, it's better than dying from it. Granted, statistically, you wouldn't have died, but also the symptoms are, mild instead of possibly getting really sick for, a week or 2. It's just like the flu vaccine. If you get the flu vaccine, you get sick for a little bit instead of getting the flu and being sick for, 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks. But then if you're real healthy and you get the flu, you're sick for a day or 2. So it's like, oh, so just be healthy and we should be okay, statistically speaking. Okay. I have this thought in my head thinking, why are we shutting down? Why did we shut down the entire world for a year? Why are we shutting everything down for people who are out of shape and fat and don't have good immune systems? I don't understand. Now, the old people, I get, but the old people should stay inside, or wear masks, do what they have to do. The people who don't die from the thing everyone shouldn't have to stop what they're doing because a small percentage of of the population has an issue with something, and most of them can deal with it just by eating right and exercising. That's all you have to do. I don't understand. Now, the people who have, you know, underlying health issues, things that they were born with, that's not the issue. But then even them, they should realize, like, if I had an issue, if I couldn't, trying to think, if I had some sort of like breathing, some lung issue, and where cigarette smoke just destroy, like almost made I wouldn't go into a casino anymore. They can smoke in casinos. I can understand that. I'd be like, okay, you know what? I don't go into casinos. That's where I don't go. Or if they had, like how back in the day you can smoke inside in restaurants, I wouldn't go out. If everybody wants to smoke indoor, fine. I'm the outlier. I'm the world shouldn't have to change because of me, my issue. That's like there's people who are allergic to the sunlight, and that's like the world saying, let's put a dome over the entire planet, okay? Because it's one person. It's like, no, build a little society where they can function and live, a somewhat normal life to wherever they're happy. Let's not change everyone else's lives. I go down that road, but then you want to be not passionate. What am I going to say? You want to be caring to other people. And so, like, how much of it, like, can we make it a little bit easier? Can we like change, like, where old people can go to the grocery store at a certain time, but then everyone else, and then it's free for all, and like normal? Can we just do that? Could that have been there's an old person time to go to everything. Hey, old people, you want to go somewhere? You're up early anyway. So 8 to 9, the first hour, all you guys. You can get an hour or maybe even a half hour, a half hour. And then at the end of the, midday, you get an hour or something like that. Every other time for, that wouldn't be so bad. Maybe like once a week, and it's all on different days. I don't know. And these are just ideas off the top of my head that if I thought about it more than, 5 minutes, I'm pretty sure I can come up with a good solution here. Just, and then, watching all of these, what was it? Watching all these pop culture shows, um, with my girlfriend, I'm starting to suspect that she's using me to learn pop culture information because she's lived her whole life and she's had this issue to where she doesn't say, what's Back to the Future? Well, who's Gandalf? Who's SpongeBob? Granted, I don't watch SpongeBob. Never seen an episode of SpongeBob. Who are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? So I think she understands that I understand a little bit of that. I get it. I enjoy it. So then she's like a succubus. She's taking all that information out. And as soon as she gets enough pop culture references, she's going to leave me. Once she starts understanding, her friends at work, I always joke that she's an alien. And that she's downloading information for her home planet. She came in, what did she say the other day that was so fucking stupid cute? And by stupid, I mean dumb, by the way. She calls possums opossums. She goes, oh, look at these. I don't want an opossum to get in here. I'm like, what? An opossum? Possum, you mean? Possum. Possum, 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 possum. Opossum, opossum, opossum. No, that's not a thing. I think you're mixing up. The O is silent. The O and the P is silent. It's called possum. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. She was going out with her friends yesterday. And she comes into the room and she goes, how does the hair on top of my head look? And I'm like, what other type of hair would you be asking me to review? It's on top. Most of your hair is on top of your head. Okay. You're Puerto Rican. So sometimes you have a little bit of sideburns. You got a little chin hair you pluck and you got a soft mustache. You shave all that off. I understand you don't have hairy legs. You're not hairy anywhere else. I understand that the hair you want me to review and to critique is on top of your head. But the way she had it in a bun and it was on top of her head, it was just sitting on top of her head. So that's what she meant. And I'm just like, well, your hair's already on top of your head. You don't have to say that. How does my hair look? How does the hair on top of my head look? I'm just sitting there like, what planet? What solar system? How did you get here and Elon Musk didn't detect you? The Tesla that's floating around orbiting the Earth, how did that not pick you up with all of its sensors? How? I don't understand. We have to fund NASA more if you got here and we didn't know how you got here, okay? There's UFO pictures, there's pulsating triangle-shaped UFOs out in the world, and they're pulsing and they're doing stuff, and and this is normal. This is normal. People are like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's aliens. These aliens need to come here, okay? They probably can't communicate with us because we can't communicate with most animals, even on our own planet. They just talk to us and then our heads explode because it's at a frequency. And then they're like, oh, that's where the whole God myth came from. It's like, and we just, if you hear this noise, you'll die. It's like, oh, that's the voice of God because back then, that's what you guys came here before. And that's what, okay, you guys come here every few thousand years to make sure we're not murdering each other too much. Got it. Got it. Understood. And people are like, why would aliens come here? It's like, what's curiosity? They're going around what? They want to obviously collect as much data as possible. What are you talking about? It doesn't make sense. There was a funny, I'll probably end with this. I think, right? Yeah, about 56 minutes. So I've been talking. I didn't even get into any random news stories. Random news stories. Read an article. Um, there's a Kardashian I saw that there was a photo leaked of her, and it didn't have any filters on it, and she got mad, and then she blamed beauty standards, unattainable beauty standards, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I could not believe that she came out and played a victim of unattainable beauty standards. And I want to say this with all due respect. Bitch, you created the beauty standards. When you carved up your face, cut open your body, and injected, carved, cut, manipulated yourself to look more appealing. Because we all know what you looked like 10 years ago, and you didn't look like this. You created it. You've made hundreds of millions of dollars off of it. Your family's generated billions of dollars off of unrealistic beauty standards that you made. So when you're a victim of something that you created, shut up, take the criticism, all right, and deal with it. You're a millionaire. Shut up. Nobody wants to hear you whine. Not a single person. I don't understand that it was like at the beginning of the pandemic, Kristen Bell, her co-star Olaf were crying in their mansions because they could not play pretend anymore. All of Hollywood is shut down. I can't see my friends. First of all, you can go see them. They all live in mansions. They have enough room for you to come visit. What are you talking about? You're mad because you cannot play pretend for a living. You're set. You're good. If you were a struggling actor and that was your own, I can understand. Hey, they're all shutting down. I can't eat. That, yes, cry. That sucks. You're a millionaire. Olaf, you're still fat. You're still, hey, fat people, rich fat people, just gonna go on a limb. Don't cry during a pandemic where people are losing their jobs and can't eat. And there's people, okay, stop. Shh. There's people dying of starvation. Starvation. Shh. Quiet, please. It's a really bad look. It's a really bad look. It's like when the prince and the duchess, whatever, were complaining atop their castle. You're not a victim. Shut your mouth. You're in the top 1% of the 1% of the 1%. I don't care. I literally do not care if someone asked you about the skin color of your baby. Those people are morons and they will never succeed in life. You're supposed to forget them. Oh, you said, what did you say? That's racist. You're an idiot. And then never think about them again. oh, this one person who I can't name said this. Is it someone who has power over you? No? Then keep it moving. What is wrong with you? Where you're going on Oprah, oh, because you have a like a production deal with Oprah and you want as many eyeballs on Oprah and you at this time. So you have a business deal with the person that's quote unquote interviewing you, which you go over the questions beforehand and say, I want to answer it this way, I want to answer it this way. All three of those people knew what they were going to talk about before the interview even happened. So it's not really an interview. There were no surprise. Oprah is not an investigative journalist. Okay. And let's be honest, Oprah had the KKK on her show for ratings, specifically for ratings, because she had to compete with Jerry Springer and all those other people. She had some terrible people on the show promoting that. Okay, so, You're okay? So you're making money off of all that. Oh, but now you have standards. Oh, got it. Okay, cool. Like with the beauty standards with the Kardashians. Like, you made this. What? And no one's going to feel, no real person. And it's not because of hate. And it's like, oh, you're a millionaire, so you're super successful and we're not. It's like, this is a bad time to be, right now, bad time to be complaining about anything. You can't. It doesn't look good. There are people way worse off than you. Stop. Yes, you could be going through mental issues. There are millionaires who murder themselves. I'm not saying money is happiness, but to get this like victimhood put on you, and it's like, well, you have to deal with the it's difficult. I'm sad. It's like, you can be sad, but we don't want to hear about it. Okay? Just like how if I'm driving a Lamborghini and it breaks down, I'm not going to complain that my Lamborghini, my Lamborghini always breaks down. What am I going to do? The rough part of life is when you own a Lamborghini and they break down and you have to buy a brand new one, and then not even notice it. Shut up. You make your money off of the internet. You know how the internet is, social media. You make all of your money off of that. There's going to be drawbacks with everything. Everything you do, there's going to be drawbacks. Any decision you make, just like with a government decision, if you put certain regulations on this, it could be regulated. If you don't put enough, it could be too wild west and people don't care and then people die. So there's consequences to every decision you make. You make your money off of the internet, there's going to be mean people online that are going to criticize you. Ignore them. You're winning. You've won by far. So shush. Okay, it's a really bad look. Prince Harry and Markle are, that we dealt with racism and then we went home to our castle and and then my 5 servants, I was really sad about it. Then I picked up our silver spoon, an actual 100% silver spoon. And then I was eating my 3rd lunch of the day. Why are you complaining right now? You're a princess. Shut up. Kardashians, you've made hundreds of millions of dollars, making millions of women feel like they're not enough. They don't want to post a selfie unless there's a damn filter on it or bunny ears. That's because of you. You did that. And then when you get, you have a picture that doesn't have a filter on it, you're like, oh, that invaded my privacy. No, that's you. That's you. It's great to see who you really are. And it's great to now see who your real personality is. It's great. Granted, everybody already knew that. I knew it. Unbelievable. Anyways, that's my rant. I'm going to end it. This has been the Chase Carter Concept Podcast for Friday, February 16th? Yeah, February 16th. Hope you guys had a good week. I'll see you next time. You got this shit knocking low.